This video is going to be targeting our married couples. Last 2 weeks, we did a whole broadcast on the singles, how to receive your marital blessings, especially if you want to get married this year. I've put together instructions that I believe God has laid on my heart to give to you so that you can indeed get married this year. So if you are single and you are watching and you've not seen that video after this broadcast, please make time and go and watch it. If you're married, you can equally do the same. Go and watch it and then share it with your friends who are single. The married couples, I'm going to give you at least 10 instructions on how to receive your marital blessings this year. If you are single, this is good for you because it means that you are preparing ahead of time. And I can tell you, we've got some good stuff here today. This video is really going to bless you. So please don't watch it alone. There are people who need to hear this. Please share it with somebody. Don't watch it alone. So this year has been declared the year of marital blessings. The foundational scripture for the couples is Ecclesiastes 4, verse 9 to 11. And our focus is more on two are better than one. So because you are two, your life is meant to be better, okay? It cannot be the same as when you are single. If it's still the same or it's gone worse, then it means something is wrong and you have to make adjustments. Okay, so that's one of the adjustments we are going to do in this video to help you to trace your steps so that you can indeed receive your marital blessings. One of the things that we'll be doing is we are going to put together a module on the marriage preparation classes. And the module will be about the blessing of the two, okay? So we'll give you scriptures that talks about why you should get better, why you should succeed as a couple. And we are going to make it compulsory for all our married couples, especially those of you on the WhatsApp group. It's going to be compulsory because we really need you to know these things so that you can succeed. The whole vision is about having a better marriage. So if you are not willing to make your marriage better, it means that you are not for the vision and you don't belong to the vision. You can go elsewhere where anything goes. But in Amewowor, we want to make sure that what we are teaching and the principles that we know which has worked for us will work for you as well. You want the vision to reflect in your life. So if you're not ready for the vision to reflect in your life, you can't be with us. It's just as simple as that. I've got 10 things that I'm going to talk about. And I also want you guys to know, especially those of you who are trusting God for the fruit of the womb, children is one of the blessings of marriage, okay? So we will be using a whole month within this year to pray about the fruit of the womb so that you can receive that, because there are some people, they've done everything. Medically, they are not having a problem, and yet they can't conceive. So you need a divine hand to come in. And even if you have a medical condition, we've heard of so many people who, it doesn't matter how old they are, God gave them the fruit of the womb. Some don't even have a womb and they conceived, okay? You can have low sperm count, you can conceive, because guess what? When asked Mary in the Bible, she didn't conceive through sperm, okay? So the miraculous can happen. That's literally what I'm trying to say, that God can work a miracle, okay? So that's to encourage some of you if you are getting frustrated, but God has an agenda for you this year. It would happen in Jesus' name. Things that you should do this year, instructions for our Amewoworians. If you're watching on Facebook, you are a follower, you are not a registered member, but you can still benefit from these instructions if you follow them. So first thing to do is to have marriage MOT. Okay, just like the way you take your car every year to have a MOT so that it can be serviced properly for the car to work. the same thing to do with marriage. You've got to take a time out. If it's once a year, once a year, or once every 2 months, or once every 3 months, sit down as a couple and talk. Because sometimes when you are so busy, you're going up and down, you are doing this, running a vision or ministry, you are raising the children, business, and all of that, you can lose track of yourself. So you may think that you are still happy, but you may not be happy. Okay, so one person may feel like, you may feel, oh, my wife is happy, but actually, is she happy? Or my husband is happy. Is he really happy? Okay, you need to talk, sit down, get to know how they are feeling, what their challenges are, areas they want to improve, and find ways that you can do it. Okay, so we've got a whole module on the marriage preparation class for this, but it's a different way altogether. I'm not going to spill out everything here. And then the second thing is have a theme for the year as a couple. So for instance, in Amewowor, our theme for the year is the year of marital blessings. In my church, the theme is the year of takeover. Takeover. Your church may have their theme. Whichever organization you belong to may have their theme, but you as a couple have a theme. Let the Holy Spirit lead you on what he wants for you this year. So if you've not done it, you can take a few days out, fast and pray, ask the Lord, what do you want to do for us this year? Or what do you want us to do this year? And let that theme be your running course for the year so that you live with that theme. Have plans on how to work out the theme. So once you know the theme, you sit down, make plans. How can we make sure that this theme manifests in our lives? Okay, and then you do that. That's number 2. Number 3, go out together as a family. Once a month or maximum every 3 months. Some people do it once a year to go away. Okay, we have a day or a week in the month that we go out. It doesn't have to be an expensive place. You can just go on a walk, go to a country park or any park where you can sit down and talk, or you can take your own food, do a picnic. You sit down and then you eat your own food, or go to a restaurant. Okay, nowadays the restaurants are not that expensive. Okay, so you can go. You may not even spend, if you're in the UK, you may not even spend up to maybe 30 pounds, okay, or 50 pounds. If you go to a very expensive restaurant, maybe you spend more, but in most of the restaurants, they are not expensive. If you don't have money, because there are some couples that maybe financially you are struggling, you don't have to go out. You can have a date night at home, whereby you dress up, the lady, you do your makeup, you cook something nice, you sit around the dining table. Even if you don't have a dining table, you can still cook something that you are not always eating at home, something different, and then eat it together as a family. Okay, this is a very good opportunity for you guys to really gel and bond. So you can take turns. So maybe this month, I'm the woman, I'm the one that is organizing the date night. So I come up with my own food, or come up with activities, couples activities that you can do together during that date night. Or the next month, you, the man, you take 10. So you can decide to make your special meals. We try to go out on the day that maybe our schedule doesn't really allow us to go out. We do the date night at home. So that's when my husband normally would do his special meals. You come up with something and then organize something for us to eat. You don't necessarily have to go out. And even for the restaurant, you can just go and pick ice cream. Sit down and eat your ice cream and leave. Okay? You will not be forced to buy what you don't have. And the man, please dress up as well. I think I left that one out. Number 4, pray every day together as a couple. When my sister was single, she shared this with me, and I found it very, very inspiring. She said to me that when she was single, she decided that there will be no Friday in her life that she would sleep at home. She would sleep in the church every Friday. So what she does is she will look for a church that is hosting an all-night. If her church is not hosting an all-night, she will find another church. Even if she has to travel to go to that all-night, she will go. Every Friday, she never slept at home. There are many couples, when they were single, their prayer life was fire until they got married. And then all of a sudden, everything went down. You no longer pray. You feel like, I've received my answer. Why should I pray? Or you start using your children as an excuse. And by the time you realize the devil comes in, boom, and he hits you. And you are like, I didn't see this coming. So please go back to your first love. Make it a point that this year, to receive your marital blessing, you need to pray together as a couple. Have your own private prayer time, but make time to pray together. Because for some of us, the reason why things are not going on the way they should is because we have stopped praying. And I always say that if you are single and you married late, especially in the African culture, many people marry very young. Some people even get married at the age of 23, they are married. So in Ghana, for example, if you marry at 30, 35, they see you as your marriage is late, okay? Now, sometimes the reason why we get married late is because there is a demonic hand involved, or it's a pattern in the family, okay? Now, that pattern or that demonic hand is not going to stop pursuing you because you are married. So when you get married, they will come after you. And sometimes they will come after you trying to stop you from conceiving, or they will try to cause your financial life to be miserable, or they will cause confusion. Some of them, and the whole agenda is they want to break your marriage. Okay, so they will come up with so many things to stop you. So if you get married and your background or the way you got married late, and then all of a sudden you've relaxed, the power that is chasing you has not relaxed. They are still there. They are still there. So if you don't pray, you will have yourself to blame. So the same fire you carried from your singleness, make sure that fire is burning in your marriage. If it is dead, please resurrect it this year. Sometimes, because of maybe the time you go to work, it may not be possible for you to wake up and pray together. You can split it across the day. You can pray 10 minutes or 30 minutes in the morning. In the afternoon, find out the break time of your husband or your wife. Call them over the phone. You can just speak in tongues for 10 minutes. Or you can pray real prayer points. And then when you come back together in the evening, you can spend another 30 minutes. Or another 10 minutes. It's better you are praying than not to pray at all. If you have a very busy schedule which does not permit you to pray consistently, make sure that you have a day in the week, okay? It can be every Wednesday or every Tuesday. You have scheduled that time that this is family prayer time. You and your children pray at least 1 hour during that time. It's very important. Number 5, if I say something that maybe you've never heard it before, it's new to you, please type it in the comments, okay? If you've heard it before, but I'm explaining it in a different way, that is making you to properly understand it, please type it in the comments. So whatever you are learning, whatever hits you, you see that this one is for me, it's for me, put it in the comments, okay? It helps those who would come later to have a gist of what the video is about. And if you have not shared this on your timeline, please do so. Share it now. Number 5, apart from you praying together, have a day you fast and pray together as a couple. There are difficult situations that can come up in the marriage. and I call them the dangers of marriage. Okay. I tried to touch on this when we're doing the 40 days fast during the all-night service. And I explained that marriage is very dangerous. Marriage is very dangerous. And some of you, you've not realized it. So when we call for prayer time and the married people, you only see the singles coming and the married people are relaxed. I feel sad for them, because you've not, it's like you are sleeping. You are sleeping. Marriage is very dangerous. There are some families, there are no marriages. Nobody is married. So it could be that in the wife's family, there are no marriages. Now you've gone to marry that woman. Everybody's marriage is broken. What makes you think that yours is going to stand? You broke through, you got married to the person. But it's a negative pattern in the family. The spirit or the strong man policing that pattern will come after you. So there are some people who are married, they're happy, everything is fine, and all of a sudden they break up. And you are like, I can't believe that this couple broke up. It's not because there was something wrong with them per se, it's because it's a pattern. So the pattern is just repeating itself. So the fact that you are married doesn't mean that you should stop praying. You've got to keep praying and praying. It is dangerous for you not to pray. There are some families, wives die early or husbands die early. So you have got married to this man whose family, wives die early. What does it mean? It means that you have signed your death sentence just by saying, yes, I do. So you can die if you don't pray. That is how dangerous marriage is. And every family, there are patterns. There is one thing or the other. There are people who say, when I got married, before I got married, my finances were good. They were good. And then immediately I got married, everything is scattered. I don't know what happens. My money is disappearing. It's because maybe the family that you have married into, that is the pattern there. So if you are not praying, you become a victim. There are some families, there are no conception. People don't give birth. You have gone to marry from that family. You have already signed that you're not going to give birth. Until you pray and have a divine hand in that marriage, you will never conceive. Okay, so there are some people, they can't conceive, is because of these things. Background. So when you hear somebody who is divorced or they are not conceiving, then don't just think that they were bad people. No. There's something that is working against it. There's something. So marriage is dangerous. You can't be married and fold your hands. When we call for this fasting, 40 days fasting, recently when we did a 40 days fasting, I took you guys on a 3 days drive, because we've never done it in SWA before. We did 24 hours continuously for some time. And then we did a 3 days drive. And some of you were like, oh, I'm about to die, I'm about to die. When we do this fasting, it's not because we have problems or because we are broke or we don't have food to eat, so we are calling on a fast. No, it's because we know the background we are coming from. I know the background my husband is coming from and my own background. We can't be eating and sitting there and enjoying marriage and having sex. No, it is not enough. You've got to, prayer is good, but there are some things that can only go with prayer and fasting. So don't sit down cute in your marriage thinking you've arrived. You've got to keep fighting. Fight, be real to yourself. You know the patterns in your family. Be real to yourself. Okay, I hope I've spoken well. Number 6, be honest to your spouse. This year, open up. If you really want to receive your marital blessings, open up. Whatever you are going through, is it an attack? Or Is it a seed, a bad seed you have sown in the past that you are harvesting? How was your singleness before you got married? What did you do when you were single? And how is that affecting your marriage now? Maybe you've not opened up to tell your husband or your wife that, I think this situation that we are going through is because of what I did. Maybe you snatched somebody's husband. You snatched somebody's wife when you were single. You broke people's marriages. And now you are married and you want your marriage to succeed. How? You can't cheat nature. So if you are struggling, things are going on and you don't understand where they are coming from, check your past and be honest and say, I've led this kind of life before. Please, let's pray and ask God for mercy, to show you mercy so that you can properly deal with it. Some of the things that maybe happen in the singleness, you can still solve them now. There was a lady who, the boyfriend was planning a marriage right under her nose. By the time she realized the guy is married, and this girl cried, she cried. So right from the beginning of the marriage, tears have been shed upon the marriage. This is something you've done. If you don't confess it, so that the two of you can pray, maybe you have to go back to this lady and say, I'm very sorry. I know I hurt you. Please forgive me. If you don't go for and do that, you can struggle because of the curses this lady released upon you. Sometimes somebody can curse you. Maybe you did something, you insulted your pastor or a man of God, and they said to you, you will never conceive. For raising your hand against this grace upon my life, you never conceive. If you conceive, then God didn't send me. And you went down, sat down cute. And some innocent guy came and married you. And now you can't conceive. Tell him that I think this is what is happening because I did this and did that. And go and apologize so that you can be set free. God wants to give us marital blessings. There's so many marital blessings, financial blessings, unity, peace of mind, fruitfulness. You've got to receive them. But if your past is hunting you, then you cannot receive them. There are things that prayer can do. There are some things that wisdom does. So where you need to pray, wisdom is not going to help you. Okay. And where you need to apply wisdom, prayer will not help you. So if you have to go and apologize, a simple I'm sorry for you to be free. If you don't do it and you keep praying, the prayer will not solve it. You just have to apply wisdom. That's all. I'm not seeing anybody learning because nobody's posting what they're learning on the chat. This is what year by year you watch videos, you're listening to people, and nothing changes in your life because you are not learning. After this video, if I see you somewhere and I ask you, what did you learn? You shouldn't come back and watch the video before you remember what you learned. No, there should be something that stands out for you, that you can run with it. Seraphine said, I learned that how I live my life as a single really matters. It can make or make my marriage life. Okay. Tasha, we must never fall asleep. The enemy is watching when he can strike. Now I have learned that we can reap the seeds we sow as singles, whether positive or negative. Seraphine, again, I also learned as married couples, we should cultivate the habit of praying together. Thank you. I'm grateful. The rest of you, please post something for me. Number 7. Apart from God, make your marriage and your nuclear family. When I talk about your nuclear family, I'm talking about wife, husband, children. Okay. So make it a priority. Make it a priority. Do not entertain anyone insulting you or insulting your husband or insulting your children and trying to put them down. Don't entertain it. Don't tolerate them. Somebody trying to be disrespectful to your spouse, and because it's a family member, you can see this is pure disrespect and you are okay. It's like, well, no. you can handle it, and you should be able to handle it. Whichever side of the family it is coming from, handle it. You, the person, handle it. You have to know that whoever hates your spouse hates you, okay? Somebody cannot tell you that, I love you, peace, I love you. I love to listen to you, but your husband, no, I don't want to listen to him. I don't like it. Well, you must as well just tell me I don't like you. Don't like me. Don't pretend. Just tell me you don't like me, because the two of us are one. We are one. So if people are coming across in your relationship and they are trying to make you feel like they love you more than the other person, just know that they are pretending. They hate you just like they hate the person. So don't tolerate anything like that. So sometimes people are comfortable with one spouse than the other, okay? They are more comfortable because maybe they've known you more than your spouse. It's understandable, but they shouldn't come across like, I don't want to have anything to do with him. And sometimes you can see that it's coming from a heart of disrespect or hatred, or you can feel it that this one is beyond, I'm not comfortable. There's something attached to it. Don't tolerate that. Because of what we do, we are privileged to hear certain things and people confide in us. I may not necessarily go to my husband and start telling him, oh, this happened, this person said it, da, 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 da. But it is not a secret. If a time comes and he needs to know, I can share it without feeling like it's a secret. However, for instance, if you share something with me and you tell me plainly, I don't want your husband to hear, that alone has already pushed me. I'll go and tell you. For the fact that you've told me, I don't want your husband to hear. Why don't you want him to hear? Or I don't want your wife to hear. Why? What are you hiding? If you share something with me and you don't want my husband to know, just pray and trust God that I will not tell you. One of my sisters, we used to be very close to her husband. So sometimes we share things with her husband, and when she sees that we are doing, she say, oh, what is it? And then we say, we don't want you to know. She will laugh. She said, look at this little girl. So she said, once you've told my husband, just know I will hear it. So if you don't want me to know, you must as well not tell my husband at all. It's very important. People do these things. And if you are a couple, people can play you in that way. They can tell you something, and then they tell you don't tell your spouse. And by the time you realize, because you haven't told your spouse, they will go behind you and say something else to your spouse against you. And then later on, it becomes a mess. Okay, so always keep that transparency. People share too many things. I can't be bothering my husband with too many things. Every day you are talking about somebody, what somebody did. No. There's no point for that, but it's not a secret. I can share it if he needs to know. It's not a secret, but please don't tell me I shouldn't share it. Because once you tell me, you've given me the license to go ahead and share it. Couples, I hope this helps you. Number 8, guard your marriage from physical and spiritual intruders. There are some people that they will not physically come into your marriage and intrude. They will not interfere. They pretend they like you. Oh, they can pray for you. They can call you over the phone and speak and pray and bless you. They can give you gifts and all of that. But spiritually, they know what they're doing. Don't be carried away with when people are smiling. And I'm not saying be suspicious of everybody. You will know if you are a prayerful person, and especially if you fast a lot, your spirit will be sensitive to some of these things. I shared this in one of the Monday prayer meetings with Swallians, that there was a time I was speaking to a friend's husband. I had visited them. The lady was doing something else. I was with the husband, and we were talking. And I shared something about the vision of Swal. It's one of the key things that I want to do with the vision. And I heard Sheniochre. I don't know how to say Sheniochre in English. It's like, look at her impudence, that kind of thing. I heard it. So I turned immediately to look at him. And I could see the shock on his face. It's as if he noticed that I heard what he said. So I was confused. I was like, did he actually say that? And then the Holy Spirit said, no, he said it in his heart. I was like, wow. This thing has happened to me twice. The first time it happened, I was so shocked. I was like, whoa. You know, so sometimes things like that, somebody can say something, you feel it. You know that they are saying one thing, but you are hearing it differently. Your spirit is picking something different from them. So you got to watch and pray. They may not intrude physically because they don't want you to know that, yeah, I'm the one doing this, but spiritually, they may be interfering in one way or the other. And when God shows you things, it doesn't matter which side of the family is coming from. Take every dream, every impression that you have seriously and pray into it. There are some people who, they like your husband or they like you. When you were single, you knew that this guy likes me. He likes me so much. And now you got married and he's still around doing and you are laughing. No. You've got to be careful. Okay. There are some people that maybe your husband or your wife was in a relationship with and the relationship broke. They haven't totally given up on that relationship. And now you have come into the picture. They have an eye still on your spouse. Okay, so you've got to be careful. Don't tolerate them. Don't entertain them. Don't let them feel like I'm okay with you when you are not. No. Don't do that. There was a dream about a lady. This lady, I've always known that this person likes my husband. And I'll tell him the way this girl is following you everywhere. Anything you organize, she will be there. The way she's smiling and doing this, are you sure she's not interested? It's like, no, we are just working together. I said, okay, no problem. And then I had a dream. We were not even in a relationship then. But obviously, I already knew that this is the man I want, you know, so I've already been praying about him. And I had a dream. I saw this girl wearing an African dress, very nice one. She's got a zip in the front. And she was looking nice. And naturally, when I see you, you're doing well, I'll celebrate with you. I'll compliment you because God has different journeys for all of us. You know, I know where I'm going and I'm happy with where God is taking me. So I don't have a business envy. So in the dream, same attitude, I was complimenting her. I said, your dress is nice. Your dress is beautiful. I did it 3 times. It's like, oh, you are looking nice. And all of a sudden, I saw that she was removing her dress. She was removing it. And I said, why? Why are you removing the dress? And she said, it's for you. I was like, huh? So yeah, the dress is for you. I collected your material from this person and I use it to sew the dress. I want to see if it will look nice on me. I was like, my material, you want to see if it will look nice on you. And interestingly, I've never sewed anything that has a zip in front. My zip is always at the back. When your zip is in front and you want to take off the cloth, it's easier to access it than when it's at the back. So literally, she's observed me taking some qualities that I have, started behaving that way, and she's making herself more accessible than I would do. And I was like, okay, cool. You've taken it off in the dream, but physically, I will enforce this. I prayed like never before. Okay, so some of you may be receiving dreams, and this person, the number of dreams I've had about the person, even when I'm married. So you've got to be careful. Some of these people, they are there. They've still got an eye. Some of them will use diabolical means to try and interfere and so forth and so forth. Somebody's trying to get too close to your husband or too close to your wife. You don't like it. But when you see the person, The person is coming around and you are smiling, you are playing with the person. Then when you go home, you are not complaining. And why are you so nice to this girl? Why are you? Let the person know you don't like it. And especially if you're a woman, we have that thing. There's that thing about us. We know how to express ourselves without speaking. It's just one look you give to that woman, she knows, nah, don't come near. Don't come near. Don't come near. There's this lady that my husband became friends with. I think they did some classes together, so they were friends. And that was even before I joined the church. And this lady, she was going through a few stuff. My husband has a listening ear. He can be that nice, listen to you, give you advice, and pray with you. So it's like she had some kind of comfort there, which I'm aware of them. So one day, when I started church, we were in the church, she introduced me to the lady. Okay, I was cool with their talk because I know what the conversation is about. So I was cool with it. Until one day, we were in church and it was during praise and worship time. My husband was praying, lifted his hands, worshiping. And I don't know, for some reason, I opened my eyes. And the lady was like a few rows in front of us. And I saw the lady was looking towards our direction and pointing to me to alert my husband because he wants to say something during praise and worship. I think she had had a breakthrough and she couldn't wait. She was in a hurry. She wanted to maybe say to my husband that after the church, he should wait. I thought maybe there's somebody behind me that she wants me to draw the person's attention to her. I looked back and I couldn't see everybody is worshiping. So I looked at her again and she was still pointing. I said, who? And then she said, my husband. And I look at my husband. My husband was deeply in worship. I look at the lady. I said, he is praying. And then I thought, why? What is it that you can't wait, that you have to wake him out of prayer, out of worship to just give an information? From that day, I said, this girl, you have overstepped your boundaries. And I think she noticed that because of the way I did it, I said, he's praying. And of course, I added some facial expressions. So she knew there wasn't, and I didn't say anything to my husband after that. So the church finished. She told my husband the good news. So my husband told me, oh, she's had a breakthrough, blah, blah. And I told my husband what she did. And that I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not going to tolerate that. What made me feel insulted was that if I had stopped my husband from worshiping and just tell my husband somebody wants to say something to you, my husband would have thought, is that why you woke me out of worship? And I'll look stupid in front of my husband. So anybody that wants to make me look stupid, you are not my friend. I will not tolerate you. A few days later, she texts my husband, I don't think your wife likes me. Not that I don't like her, but the way she did some things, I was like, nah, you can't do that. And some of us, we are laughing around people who are doing things that makes you feel stupid before your spouse, and you are tolerating it. You are making them feel it's okay. Meanwhile, it is not okay. So please don't tolerate anyone that is trying to get an attention by fire, by force. This is like, I need that attention. I need to say what I want to say now. No, you can't have it. He's not your husband. He's not your best friend. You can't have it. Still on number 8, stop telling your family and friends bad things about your spouse. They will just hate him for nothing. Anything that happens, you call your mother. My husband did this, my husband did that, my husband bought me this, or my husband slapped me, my husband. No, there's no need. They don't need to know. Don't call your family, don't call your siblings, don't call your friends. It's not part of their business. You are married because you told yourself, I'm ready, I'm mature. So why are you not running to people? Handle it, okay? Please stop. Unless they are killing you when you think that if I don't reach out to somebody, I will die. Then you have to seek for help. But apart from that, please don't do that. There was a lady that recently got married. She got married almost 40. one of the advice I gave her is to ensure that she keeps things within the marriage. And then she said to me, you know what? It's one of the reasons why I got married late. And I said, okay, explain. And she said, any relationship I enter, I'll be telling my family, I'll call them if the guy does something wrong, I'll call them and complain. And then all of a sudden they start hating the guy. They start hating him so much to the extent that he leaves. She's been having repeated breakups because of that. And I even believe that maybe the anointing on Swal broke through for her, because the way we met, it was a divine connection. And she told me, I've learned my lessons in a hard way. So because of that, trust me, I'm not going to repeat it again. I said, good for you. So if you are single, maybe one of the reasons why you are still single is because you are telling people too much about your boyfriend. So be careful about that. Number 9, do everything you can to live under the same roof as a couple. I'm seeing so many of our singles who get married, and this person is living here, the other person is living there. And I'm like, what is this? Young couples, the stress that can cause you. And if you watch my series on my journey from courtship to life after honeymoon, I don't know which episode, I share some of the things that, you do at the early stages of your marriage. Because you're under the same roof, you can do so much. You can make some good memories. And if you're living apart, it can be very difficult for you to do all those things. There was a dream that I had. I actually shared a dream on the Married with a Life WhatsApp group. That was on the 16th of May, 2019. So it's almost 3 years now. And the Lord showed me something about living apart and why people were living apart, and he wanted me to address it. So I addressed it on the WhatsApp group. Today, when I was preparing for this message, it came to my mind. I believe it was just the Holy Spirit impressing it on my heart to touch on it again. So some people live apart because they are living in different countries. Some of them, because of visa issues, they are not able to come back home frequently, or some have never come back home. I was following a live broadcast of a man of God we love so much, and there's a woman who hasn't seen a husband for 21 years. And there was another man, he's getting old, he's not seen his wife for 18 years. How do you live like that? The visa issues can really cause problems. But let me share the dream. I'll read the dream the way I saw it, and then we'll look at what the Lord wants us to do. So I just literally went and copied this message from the WhatsApp group. So this is what I said to them on the 16th of May, 2019. In the dream, I saw a lot of young couples I know, and some I do not know. And when I started talking with them, I discovered that most of them were living apart. In the first scene of the dream, the setting was that of a working environment, which I believe God is saying couples are living apart because of work, which can be a danger to their marriage. Second scene, I saw couples living in their parents' home because they have to take care of one parent. In the scene, it was the man who had moved to the wife's parents' home. However, although he knew it was not the best, he was okay with it, and it was not too much of an issue. The last thing was that the lady refused to leave her place of abode to come stay with her husband when they got married. She's just fine where she is and can't seem bothered about the man. The husband in this scene was very disturbed and angry about the whole situation and giving the lady an ultimatum to move. The impression I had here is that some women are refusing to submit to the vision and leadership of their husband, and these can lead to the breakup of the marriage. God is showing me this because this is not his plan for marriages, and especially Mwalians. The Mwa vision is to produce better marriages than what we currently see in our generation. Therefore, if Mwalians are to fall victims to what was revealed in this dream, it means they are falling outside of God's plan for them. Let's look at the interpretation of the solution for the scene one. This is where sometimes I say that people don't do their homework well. So I'm talking more to the singles now. You know that you are living in Navrongo, the other person is living in Wale Wale. I don't even know how far apart they are. Just give an example. You know it. Whilst in the relationship, you know it. Before you get married, try to sort these things out. Don't tell yourself that it's okay for us to live apart. You will not enjoy your marriage. The solution that we have for you is that you should agree this year, do your best, start working on plans to live together. So agree on one city you want to live in. Maybe let's assume that the guy is in Kumasi, the woman is in Koforidua. Or the guy is in London, the woman is in Manchester. Decide which of the cities you want to live in. Maybe you don't want to live in any of the cities. Agree. Maybe you want to go and live in Liverpool, or you want to go and live in Dartford. Plan. Take some time out, go and explore the city, and then start praying that God should open a job opportunity there for you. So it means that you also have to actively start searching for a job. Whilst you are living apart, start searching for a job in that city. And once you get a job, you move to that city. And then compromise if it works. You've got to compromise. So, for example, we know that most of the time it's the woman that follows the man to his home. It's just because of the transfer of power. When you get married and your father says, I am the one that gives this woman in marriage, he has literally transferred power to your husband. So it means that he cannot keep you in his home. You have to now follow your husband. So that's why we follow our husbands to their house, okay? Or both of you decide to find a place and live together. However, sometimes because of the situation, you've got to compromise as a man. So let's assume that the wife is earning a lot of money, okay? Her job pays her more, maybe 5 times more than you are paid as a man. Don't say that, well, I'm the man, you have to come and live with me. When you know that you actually need this money, because the money is helping you guys to build, to establish. So you can compromise, you can put your pride down and sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. A marriage is all about sacrifice, okay? It's a sacrifice. So you sacrifice and then decide that you find a job where she lives. And because she's earning more, it means that maybe even if you go and live there with her and you don't find a job quickly, you still probably will be fine. Okay, so you can decide to go and find a job opportunity where she lives, the city where she lives. You may not want to move into her apartment. You can find a different house within that city and live there. It makes things easier for you. Sometimes the man's money is enough to cater for 2 people, cater for your children, take care of all the bills, and you'll be fine. Okay, if that is the case, then the woman, it doesn't matter the position you have at your work, but sometimes that is the problem. People feel like, I'm the manager here, people respect me, I have so many favors here, I can't leave the job. I can't leave the job. I love this job. I love it. I love it. And because of that, you are there. You are not willing to move and you go enjoy your husband because of a job. Remember, the job is not for you. The company is not for you. They can sack you at any time. So you can't lose on both sides. You can't keep your job and be losing your marriage. And then one day your boss, the owner of the company comes, they're like, we have problems. We are going to close down this company. What would you do? If the woman, your husband is doing well, you can also sacrifice and say, okay, for the sake of my marriage, let me let this job go. Go and live with your husband, start finding a job in the city that he lives. And I'll tell you the dangers of living apart. The scene 2 is to do with the woman who didn't want to leave her house. And again, this is something that if you are single, you should discuss it. So whilst you were dating, you've gone to visit the lady. Maybe she's a career woman. She's doing well. She's bought this house. She's living there. Her house is 100 times better than where you are. Maybe you are even renting and the lady is doing well. You have to make these discuss. So when we get married, what's going to happen to this house? Are you going to sell this house? Or are you going to rent it out and come and live with me? Or what's the plan? Discuss it. Know where you two are going to live. If you want to go and live in the lady's house, you are married, so it belongs to both of you now. Everything you have is for both of you. Unless you are the typical woman or people who says, my money is my money, his money is his money. Well, that is not biblical, so I don't buy it. If you wait and then you get married and it becomes an issue, it means that you didn't do your homework well. You did not. You cannot blame the devil for any problems you're having now. There are some families, they have like a big compound. They allocate a room to each person, or it can be an apartment. This is your own apartment. This is your brother's apartment. This is your sister's apartment. And people get comfortable there. So when they get married, they're like, I'm not moving an inch from this house. This is where I'll be living all the days of my life. And it becomes a problem when they get married. So when they get married, obviously the man doesn't want to come and live in the house with you. And you, the woman, you have to submit and move and go and live with your husband. Maybe the woman feel my place is better than yours. I don't want to come and live in your place. Okay, fair enough. Can we find a different place whereby both of us are happy with and move there? Find a place where you both like and move to that place. For the woman who is living in a family house and doesn't want to move, the first thing you need to know is that that house is not yours. It's your family house. It's your father's house. It is not yours. Unless it was built and the document was handed to you and your name is on it, so it belongs to you. But even that, don't let it stand between your marriage. Some people are losing their marriages because of that. You've so much cleaved to your father's house. Ideas that can help you. You can rent out this house or the room. It even gives you an opportunity to have regular income coming in. I actually had a dream about something like this recently. One of our Mwalians, it was to do with this whole family house thing. And interestingly, the problem is because it's a family house, it even affected their sexual life because people are everywhere. So during the day, they can't have sex. They have to have sex when everybody's asleep. Can you imagine? Young couple, when your sexual hormones are active, you can't have enough of each other. You now have to wait and time everybody. So you be time you go and see, are they sleeping? Are they awake? And then when they go to bed, it doesn't make sense. Don't put yourself in that kind of bondage. And actually the dream, God was giving me instructions to speak to him about that and for him to break out of the family house because it was limiting him. Get out and move in with your husband. If you've tried to convince a lady to follow you so that you find a place that you both like and live and that for her to rent out the house, if it's a house in a name, she can sell it. If all else fails, try and get somebody that she can listen to and bring the person into the situation. I don't like the fact that people need to come into your marriage and be sitting you down, talking to you and blah, blah. We've never done that by the grace of God. Nobody has had opportunity to do that. But sometimes if you have to, you can find somebody who the lady will listen to and then get them in to speak to the lady. After doing all of that, she's not ready, then just know that you've married an unsubmissive wife. And actually you should have known before you married her. Let's look at the first scene. This is a scene whereby the man had to move into the woman's parents' house because one of the parents was sick. And so they felt like the best way they can take care of the parents is to live there. The second scene is really not a problem because the man is not breaking living and cleaving rules. So the Bible says that a man will leave his father and mother and be cleaved to his wife. So if the man was now going to live with his wife in his father's house or in his mother's house, then he will be breaking the rules of living and cleaving. It will go against biblical principles. And I've always said that when you break biblical principles, they will break you. So you've got to guard against that. But this time around, he's not going to his parents' house, he's come to the woman's house. So it's not a big deal. It's not a problem. Okay. However, because of the transfer of power, which requires a woman to follow the man to his home, if they now live in the wife's parents' home for too long, they will never be fulfilled. It's important that as a couple, you understand that you can't establish yourself there. You can't, because sometimes when you get there, because you're not paying rent and you feel so relaxed and you think that you'll be fine there. No, it is not the best. But it's a sensitive matter, and it's because it's a circumstantial issue. It's because somebody's sick. You have to show them love. Normally, when people are sick like that, the best person to really take care of them is their family members, because you know them, you understand, they feel more loved by that. But sometimes it's not possible for family members to take care of them. So the first thing, if you're going to do such a thing, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, how long are we going to be here? There are some people, they are sick, but it's just the sickness, maybe within 6 months, they get well, or they're in a better position to take care of themselves. So then you can leave after 6 months or after a year. But there are some situations too, it's a long term. You know that this person is not really going to get better. It keeps deteriorating. It keeps getting worse. And because of the type of sickness. So with that, you can't, if you want to live, you can't live there for the rest of your life as a couple, because you can't really establish, you can't do much. It will affect your relationship, it will affect your progress. And I said earlier on, it's sensitive because they are your parents. So you need to take care of them. But you have to tackle it wisely. Got to be wise about it. So one of the things you can do, you can pay somebody to take care of them. There are people who are professionally qualified to handle cases like that. They may even be able to take care of them better than you because they are trained. Okay, you are not trained. So they may be able to take care of them better. So can you pay somebody to go and live in the house and take care of them? If you can, then go for that option. And if you are living in the UK or in countries whereby the government can step in, sometimes depending on the sickness, you can get government grants. You can apply for it, and then they move that parent to a care home whereby the government can help subsidize the cost, or sometimes they can even pay everything. You don't have to pay a penny. They'll be there, and then qualified, trained people will be taking care of them. So in that case, if the person is in a care home, you have to visit them. So you can visit them frequently, depending on your schedule. If it's very convenient, you can visit them every day. And if the care home allows it. Nowadays, because of the COVID, they may have restrictions on how long you can stay when you go and how often you can go. But the whole thing is ensure that you are visiting them. Okay, at least once a week, you should be there to visit them, play with them, and just let them feel your presence. So those are the suggestions if you are in a situation like that. This is a very sensitive topic, especially when you have to take care of a family member. Now, let me look at the dangers of staying apart. So the reason why you need to really work on living together in the same house is because it will prevent you bonding together. You may think you are bonding, you're calling on the phone, you're speaking on the phone, and sometimes people travel for 4 hours and you are just going there for the weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, it's not even for the full weekend, because if the only time you have off to go and see your husband or to go and see your wife is the weekend, it means that on Friday after work, you start traveling. You can be on the road for 4 hours, some even more. By the time you get to your husband's or your wife's house, you are tired. How much can you do? So you only have Friday, Saturdays to really do whatever you have to do. And Sunday, Otilo, you are back on the road. So it's stress, it's stress. So you can't really bond. And then it prevents you from having regular sex. Some people, they're able to see each other once a week, but some for years, months, they can't see each other. Literally, you are married, but you are living like singles. When you are single, your boyfriend is in a different place or in a different place. You see them maybe every 3 months or every 1 month, or even if it's a distance relationship, every year or more. You don't see them. And now you are married and you are in the same situation. So what's the difference? Is it just the title of you being married? Or is just showing on paper that you are Mrs. or Mr.? Is that what it really is? There's no point. I recently had a lady send me a message, and the guy is in a different country. And I explained all these things to her. Are you willing to go through all these things? If you are willing, then say yes. And you know, sometimes when you are guiding people like this, they feel like you don't want them to get married. It's one of the mistakes I made at the early stages of the vision. We were not guiding people. So I noticed that some of our singles got married to the wrong people. And whilst I was thinking about it, the Lord laid it on my heart. He said, guide them. Don't choose their spouse for them, but guide them. When you tell me you've got someone who wants to marry you, I will ask you questions. I will not talk to the person until I'm satisfied with the questions that you have answered. I want to make sure you've done your homework well. And most of the time when I start asking, they will say, oh, I didn't know this. Oh, I didn't do this. Oh, I didn't know that. The fact that you've spoken to me and I've asked you the questions and you've answered me, and you go and marry doesn't mean that the person is right for you or is wrong for you. I'm just guiding you. I will not choose your husband, so that if something goes wrong, you come back and say, well, but I spoke to Mrs. Amewowor and she was okay. And now, no. I don't know what is going to happen. Even when you are guiding people, they feel like you don't want them to get married. Then what's the point of me doing what I'm doing? Equipping singles for purpose and better marriage. Well, what will happen to the vision if there are no marriages? So why wouldn't I want you to have a better marriage? Why? Okay, it's up to you. You lay your bed, you lie on it. So we can only do what we can do. Inability to have sex frequently. And then because of that, it can lead to adultery. I don't know how your husband is living somewhere for 4 years, 3 years, 20 years, and you tell me that he's not sleeping with anybody. I don't know how. A man who has experienced sex is different if you are single. Okay, when you are single, you know that you are not meant to have sex. So you can keep yourself. Actually, a single person can keep themselves sexually pure than a married person. Because when you are married, you are having sex frequently, so your body automatically adjusts to that. So if for some time you've not had sex, the pressure on you is more than somebody who is single. So if you are married and your husband is living somewhere, you are living somewhere, you've not had sex for a whole year, how is your husband surviving? Sometimes some women end up finding out that the man has had children with another woman, the man has impregnated somebody, or, you know, all sorts of stories. So please don't put yourself in a situation whereby your husband or your wife, sometimes the women even cheat. Okay, there are some women, they can't do without sex, so they will cheat. So when you make the decision that you're going to live apart, you need to understand the dangers involved, so that when they start happening, you will not be surprised. You have to have an informed decision. We are going to live apart. This is all we can face. What can we put in place to prevent those things? Some of them you cannot prevent them. You can't. You just have to know that it can happen. It also prolongs conception. I find it very interesting when couples see each other once a month, they have sex once a month, and for how many years there's no conception, and the woman is surprised, or the man is surprised, or they start crying, or they start feeling like they are barren. You are not making sense. But sometimes you can agree that you are going to meet during your ovulation time. It's only 6 days. If I'm not wrong, the scientists, please correct me, 6 days in a month, you can get pregnant. If you miss it, we know miracles do happen, but you have to at least have sex, do something to fulfill all righteousness. Maybe by the time you met, you've missed it and you've had sex, you've gone. You can't get pregnant that month. Sometimes, even if it's during the ovulation period, some people, it takes them a lot of trying and trying before they can conceive. So the fact that you've met this month and you're on ovulation period doesn't mean that conception will take place. It might not take place. There are people who are having sex with their spouses every day, and still it takes them months, sometimes years before they conceive. So don't be living apart and having sex once every 3 months or once every month and be calling yourself barren because you are putting too much pressure on yourself. It's because you've not been real to yourself. You've got to be real to yourself. We are not having enough sex. We are not giving ourselves enough chances to conceive. So remove all those pressure, crying and calling yourself barren. You are not barren. I don't know. I find it very weird when people contact me. I'm like, how many times do you have sex in a month? And they tell me, I'm like, are you serious? Are you for real? Okay. And especially when they live abroad, it's even worse. Because maybe the time they came, you've already, and then they go for a whole year. So that means that whole year, no conception. And then they come the next year and it can prolong your conception. Mistrust, because you can't see them, you don't know what they're doing, you can mistrust them. Financial instability. The woman is paying rent there, the man is paying rent there. If you were living together, you would have saved one person's rent and it can help your finances. But because you are living apart, eating different food, you are spending more money. So you can have financial problems as a result. You might not progress quickly. When everybody is doing their own thing, you will not progress quickly. You will think you're having some level of progress, but trust me, when you are together, it will be quicker. And especially because there's lack of unity. All these things shows that there's no really unity, there's no oneness. Okay, so because of that, you can lack progress in your marriage. Please, are you learning? I'm almost done. Let me see if some people have said something about what they're learning. Please don't tell me you are learning. Tell me what you've learned. I'm learning. I've heard those things too much. So it has really helped me. How? Tell me, how did it help you? Tell us. Sometimes people send me testimony videos. I say, please go and do it again. I'm learning a lot. And they will say, a lot. They will emphasize on a lot. They want me to feel good. No, what did you learn? Tell me. Oh, Father, help me. I can only see Seraphine's own. Please share this broadcast too. Only 44 people have shared. It's not enough. Stop telling your family and friends things about your spouse. Yeah, especially the negative things. They don't need to know. I can't see the rest, but please text something. I want to see what you are learning. Last one. Join the marriage preparation course. The reason why we put the marriage preparation course together is because we have gained experience in what we are doing. So there are issues people bring. We realize that these are repeated issues that people are bringing, right from singleness into marriage. They are bringing the same stuff. So the solutions are the things we have put in the marriage preparation classes for you. Come and join it. Don't tell me it's too expensive. You spend too much money on your hair. You spend so much money on your jewelries and still you are having a difficult time in your marriage. Maybe if you channel that money into gaining knowledge, your marriage will be better. You are sitting here listening to me right now, and I say this with all humility. You are listening to me right now because there is something that I'm giving you that will benefit you. There's something I know that you probably don't know. How did I know these things to come and teach you? It's because I'm equipping myself. We are still learning. Yeah, we moved out almost 2 years now. And when we're moving out, we started clearing things because we don't want too many things in our house. And one of the things we threw out was books. We threw away over 30 books, maybe almost 50 books. We threw them away. These are some of the books that we've read, or some of the things that we look at like, it's no longer relevant to us. We threw them away. And we still have over 100 books in our house. We bought them. When I was single, I used to buy books. If I listen to somebody and they impress me, I will go and buy their books. Invest in yourself. If you don't have a mind, nobody will mind you. All the people you watch on Facebook, you watch on YouTube who are inspiring you, it's because they know something you don't know. They keep buying books, keep learning. Join the classes so that you know how we think, how we do things, and things that will help you. What I've taught here, these are good stuff that you have to go and pay a lot of money for, but you've had it free. I'm not always going to be sitting here for this long, and the time is coming. I've even started doing that. Some of the couples, when they send me issues, if I realize the issue is on a module, on a marriage preparation class, I'll tell them, please sign up for the class. I won't spend 2 hours chatting with you when you can join the marriage preparation class, get to know more, and ask questions that are personal to you. So don't be stingy to yourself. Your 20 CDs is not going to do much for us. Trust me. A time is coming, you will spend more. Take advantage of it now. Don't think you've arrived. No, you haven't arrived. You haven't. And don't think you know. You don't know much. You've got to keep learning. The only time you stop learning is when you are dead. So if you are not learning, nothing will move for you. Those on the Marriage with a Life group, we are going to make some of the courses compulsory for you. If you don't join, you will leave the group. I'll take you off. You've got to join, because some of you are spending money on things that don't matter, and yet you are suffering. You need to join so that the vision will work for you. It's not about your money. We just want you to benefit from the vision. And if you are single, take advantage of it, because it means that you are preparing yourself. It's a marriage preparation class. So even if you are not in a relationship, you can join the class. Remember the video I did 2 weeks ago on the Single for Life page? You have to be the best among the suitors. The only way you can be the best among the suitors is that you have to know what the other suitors don't know. You have to make sure your knowledge bank is full. Somebody said, living apart as couples delays conception, increases adultery, mistrust, and unstable finances as a result of spending excessively. Okay, thank you. Please share this podcast. Before you leave, share it. It tells me those who have shared it, okay? So share it again. Make sure you like the video. And if you've not subscribed, or if you've not liked the Facebook page itself, please like it. If you are watching on YouTube, please do your best to subscribe to the YouTube page and leave a comment for us. I've started a cooking series called Kitchen Romance. So if you check Married with a Life, all those videos, when you see them, watch them back to back. Maybe you can learn how to cook from that, especially if you don't know how to cook. And if you're a young couple, it helps you to wow your husband. Wow him at the early stages of the marriage. That's when you wow him. When you make some of these simple dishes, you know, and he will be happy. People say that the way to the man's heart is through the stomach. My husband doesn't like that, that statement at all. Because if that's the case, then even if you eat from the restaurant, you start falling in love with the restaurant owner or the chef at the restaurant. So some of those sayings are not really, they are not valid. But then it makes some kind of sense. They're trying to say that men love their food. Okay, they love their food. So make sure, copy some of the ideas and then cook them at home for your spouses. And the males, you can do the same. Keep supporting us. Keep supporting us. Thank you all. God bless you. Bye for now.